morning, deputeers. This. Good morning. Good morning, deputeers. This song is dedicated to you know who. Up every night until 3, working hard for you and me. Chris produces a certain show, and it's one that you all know. The show is kooky and it's fun. She doesn't leave out anyone. She's the brains behind the scenes, you know, queen of the show. She edits the videos and also the sound. The show couldn't happen without her around. And misinformation is my favorite. It's as funny as most things get. Well, Chris Carey's a genius. She makes a show for us. For entertainment, there's no other choice. And she does Bear Dog's hilarious voice. Well, up every night until 3, working hard for you and me. She's the brains behind the scenes, you know, queen of the show. Queen of the show. Queen of the show.
Welcome, Les Ogilvie. Thank you for choosing the hottest day of the year to interview me.
Thank you.
This room has no air conditioning or fan. I'd like to point out to our Deputy Ted fans.
Hey, deputeers. We're here with Chris Carey, the creator of the Deputy Ted Show. And this is called Behind the Scenes at the Deputy Ted Show. And this is going to be an interview with Chris Carey herself.
Hello.
So I have a series of questions to ask you. And so question number 1. It must be hard to write, edit, animate, supply voices, and direct such a high-quality show and then stay behind the scenes. Aren't you tempted to step out in front of the camera more often?
Well, thank you, Les. Before I answer, let me sit down and put on my director's hat and find a seat for you, or you can sit right down here on the ground. I'm a very happy behind the scenes. One of the reasons, deputeers, is during COVID, I have almost doubled my weight. And I'm much happier not being on screen.
All right, thanks. Okay, number 2. Your weekly series, Little Misinformation,
Yes.
has already garnered several prestigious awards for its animation.
Has it?
Yes, it has. Tell us how you accomplish such lifelike movements from your clay characters. And what are your influences?
Well, first, Gumby. As a original Saturday Night Live fan, I really liked Mr. Bell. And then I was a Tracy Ullman fan, and I really liked The Simpsons. But my biggest love is Wallace and Gromit. I love Wallace and Gromit so much that my husband calls me Gromit. This clay right here, that looks like this, is supposed to be the same clay they used to make Wallace and Gromit, which I'm hoping, because the clay I have been using is called Plastiline, which comes with this little animation kit. And as you can see, Little Misinformation, every time I touch her, she kind of melts. And so she's like, I'm melting, I'm melting. And the characters themselves develop their own plots by what's going on. So like the snakes kind of took over because the snakes were popular. And may I say, a snake is a very easy thing to make.
Excellent. Okay, everybody loves Ted Wilde. How did his role come about?
He has a good friend, Les Ogilvie, that gave him the name. In our day, we had Engineer Bill and we had Sheriff John, and they pretty much drove our schedule when we got home from school. So right now, during COVID times, the children are kind of getting messed up because they have to do long distance learning all day long, or they just don't really have content. Even Sesame Street and Schoolhouse Rock and Via Allegre. There's Bear Dog wanting to get into the action. What don't we take a moment and see Bear Dog? Because Bear Dog is not going to stop talking until the Instacart delivery. Take 2. Interview behind the scenes of the Deputy Ted Show. Action!
All right, where were we? Oh, yeah. Okay, back to the casting Deputy Ted in the role. Were other actors ever considered for the role?
Well, Robert Redford was the first choice. His studio never even returned my calls. Then I wanted Brian Dennehy, and I found out he was dead. So then Deputy Ted's name came right up.
All right. All right, I have another question for you.
Uh-huh.
Do you keep your car keys hidden from Bear Dog? We all saw her driving a car.
She traditionally only liked driving the camper. She loved to drive that camper. We have many, many pictures of her, stillies, driving the camper. But she doesn't have a penchant for the cars. She likes the back seat of a car.
Oh.
I don't know why. Maybe the air going through it or something.
Okay, how about this question? Why isn't Science Sam on more often? We need his guidance.
Yes, I concur. He's very good.
All right, so there has never been a variety or entertainment show on television before that is on every single day. How do you handle the daily pressure of keeping on schedule?
Woo! Well, I was a public school teacher. There is no greater pressure in the world than being a public school teacher. Putting on a daily entertainment show is nothing. Those people like Jimmy Kimmel and go back in time to, who's that guy you liked that had the dark, Steve Allen? Merv Griffin. You go back to your old variety shows that were on 5 days a week. Those people made millions of dollars. And how hard is that? You go sit in a studio and go, hey, here comes Robert Redford or whatever. What do you got to say? I'm telling you, this actually takes some time.
Okay, finally, you may have heard some of the things Donald Trump has been saying about you.
I'm not a fan of Donald Trump.
Well, he said, and I quote, Christine Carey is a nasty woman and the Deputy Ted Show is fake news. Would you care to respond to that?
That gives me great pride because I'm there with Hillary Clinton, with Kamala Harris, with, he called her Pocahontas also. What's her? Elizabeth Warren. Yeah, any woman. He's a horrible, horrible man. And all of you out there, make sure you vote the Biden-Kamala Harris ticket, because otherwise we're going to descend quickly into pure fascism. He's a dictator and he needs to be stopped. But let me add a caveat. The reason there's a Little Misinformation show separate from the Deputy Ted Show is the deputy doesn't like politics mixed in with his show. I do. I like it. So Little Misinformation is going to keep you informed, because the misinformation that is going on since this man came into power is insane. Did you hear that new one with it's a QAnon thing with the pedophiles, like Hillary Clinton and Tom Hanks have a pedophile ring, and the Democratic Party is they are nuts. And so this is my small part to counterbalance that insanity. Thank you. Hang on, do you mind if I stand up and stretch?
Okay, so this concludes this scintillating episode of Behind the Scenes.
Well, let me just turn the camera on you, Les. Let me just pick that right up and turn it on you. Because I think what our audience really wants to know is the prolificness you have of putting out an entirely new song every day is just amazing. How do you do it?
Well, Janet and I go for a walk every morning. And while we're walking, new songs, I try to think of new songs and try not to forget the lyrics by the time I get home. And that's where the ideas mostly come from, is on walks.
You're just so darn prolific, and every one of them is good. I don't even know which is my favorite. It's you and the deputy that really make the show. Ted Wilde is becoming a master puppeteer with his Trump virus mask on, And our regular posse members really help, like Miner Frank, Scientist Sam, Lasso Leslie, the weather girl, Jill with her chicken ranch, and of course Bear Dog. And then having interactive talent from our quarantine time is what I think makes the show. We have the great Kindler the Kid with Andy and Cowgirl Connie singing, Kansas City Jenny and Henry with their fish pond and jokes, the COVID bandit Janie and her brother Lost Canyon Larry, and of course Mama Ingalls and her brood with Yo-Yo Yolanda and Mud River Mike. And don't let me forget Macaroni the Pony and her sidekick Fromage. I mean, it's not like I'm having to do any of this alone. But here's how I actually animate the clay. See, it's just this easy. All three of us producers, you, Les, and Ted and I, like to play music, so that is also a big component of this show.
Once a week I watch Misinformation. I can't wait to watch Misinformation.
Because I've got cabin fever. This is a song that was requested by my friend Les Ogilvie. I've got cabin fever. I'm a non-achiever. And there's a pandemic, so we've got to stay inside.
I'm serenading my horse. Listen to the wind, can't you hear it swaying? Ooh, see the willow bend.
I hope we're providing entertainment to those shut in by the Trump virus and also content for the poor teachers having to teach from a distance. I hope we all come out of this for the better. Peace out.
Okay, well that concludes today's show. Wear your masks.
Wear your mask. Remember what Science Sam said. You can still breathe.
I'm Deputy Ted, and I use sock puppets and inflated horses.
All right then. Thanks, Chris and Ted. Behind the Scenes with Deputy Ted by Les Ogilvie. Thanks, Les. See you at the Wild X Open Bar Ranch. Ooh.